Roller Coaster Tycoon was originally released back in 1997. It's a game that allows for you to pretty much manage a theme park. It is one of those games to where you are boss hog. You name your rides, you get to name, you know, well, pretty much just your rides. So you got a choice of colors, you've got a choice of rides. I mean, you can choose anything from roller coasters to big ships to, you know, popcorn stands to balloon stands to merry-go-rounds. It pretty much just depends on your preference and kind of what you want to do with it. And it's pretty much economics 101. You know, it's supply and demand. You know, say a guy needs a bathroom, then he needs a bathroom. You know, say a guy, and if he does need a bathroom, he's only willing to pay a certain amount for that bathroom. So you have a bathroom, you raise it to 50 cent, and it was at 20 cent. He might say, hey, you know what? For 50 cent, I'm not fitting to use the bathroom. I think I'll wait today. You know, it's one of those things, man. It's just economics 101. That's pretty much all this game is. It's a big old economic party. You know, it's just the basics of economics. I mean, even with like leveling out the ground. Like as you can see right there, I got all these massive hills, and I've got, you know, all this land that needs to be, you know, made right. It needs to be flattened out. It needs to be leveled out, and that costs money. It doesn't cost a ton of money, but it costs more money than I'm willing to spend. So that's why it is the way it is. You know, I kind of try and build within the confines of what I was given. Build within the confines of, you know, build within the confines of build within the confines of what I was given. There it is. It came out. Yeah. But anyway, so the main point of this game is pretty much just to make your park successful and make money. Build rides, build, you know, popcorn stands, balloon stands, all that kind of stuff. This game initially, when it came out, it was pretty well received. It wasn't like the most amazing game in the world. It wasn't anything that like blew people's socks off. I mean, The Sims did a lot better, and it was a lot more of a foray. But this game has its own little cult following. It has its own little, you know, understanding, you know, and people get it, you know. And this is one of those games where once you get into it, you're gonna get into it. Like, see right there, you know, I got my stats sheet out. It shows kind of how my profits are doing from year to year, and kind of, you know, where I'm losing money, and kind of customer satisfaction, and kind of things like that. You know, also you have an option where you could pull up the map and kind of, you know, see the whole, you know, the whole park and kind of how the whole park's laid out and things like that. You also have the option to where you could, you know, select workers and, you know, drag them to where you need them to be, because rides will break down, rides will fail, you know. And once they do fail, if you do not close the ride, people will try and get on the ride, and that will, you know, cost you in the end, because the ride can actually kill people, and that will affect the reputation of your park negatively, and that will in turn affect the amount of guests that will come into your park, and in turn that will affect your bottom line, your profit, you know, your revenue. And this game does have a built-in system to where it will calculate year-round, you know, just like in real life. It'll go in years, 6 months, however much, you know, however much time, you know, how time passes in real life is pretty much how it passes in this game. So say you built a ride 15 minutes ago. In this game, that could mean that ride's 6 years old or 7 years old. You do also have the option to change the name of your ride. You can pretty much name it whatever you want. If you want to be immature, you can name it something crazy. Also, you could change the color of your ride. You could change, you know, the color of your go-karts on your ride. You could, like, it's highly customizable, highly customizable. I've been playing this game since I was probably about 14 years old, man. That's when I first started playing it. And I think I played it on like an old P3. This game does not require much hardware to run at all. You could probably run this game on an old, I wouldn't say a P2, but you honestly, you probably could get away with running it on a fast P2. It's that under demand. It's not a demanding game at all. Like, at all. Like, you can get a laptop in like 2001, 2002, and run this and have a blast. You're not going to get the best frame rates, but honestly, it's a pretty slow-paced game, so you don't need super high frame rates in this game. You just don't. I mean, shoot, you could have... I mean, I'm running on a powerhouse right now. I'm getting like 140 frames a second or something like that. I mean, obviously that's not going to show in the capture software, but yeah. Also, one caveat with this game, the resolution is not going to be very high because it is an older game, and it just, I guess monitors at the time just didn't support those higher resolutions. So that's one thing that, you know, you should be wary of before you do go ahead and give this game a shot. It is not a very expensive game. I purchased it for probably right around, I would say, I think it was like $5.99 on Steam, I believe it was. It was very inexpensive. It was either Steam or Origin. But I would have to say, with this game, I would go ahead and, you know, not pay more than probably, I'd say about $4. I think I overspent on it a little bit. I think you can get better deals on it than that, especially if you wait till around the holidays. I think you can really make things happen with it and just really knock it out of the park. This game does also allow for you to do landscaping and lay down roads and stuff for your pedestrians, or well, your guests. And one thing with that is it is pretty rudimentary. It is pretty basic. It's not something that's, you know, gonna blow your mind, and it's very unresponsive at times. Especially sometimes on modern hardware, it can get a bit laggy and it can get a bit, you know, touchy, to say the least. One thing I do like about the game is, because we're gonna get to audio now. One thing I do like about the game is audio quality is excellent. Audio quality for a game being this old is some of the best I've heard in a while. I mean, this game, I mean, if you have the right sound system in your house and you have a decent graphics card in your computer or laptop, it's gonna sound good. I mean, they're pretty basic sounds. They're pretty rudimentary sounds. It's just mainly, you know, a little cache sound, carnival music and all that. I did turn the music off for this review because I did not want it to interfere with, you know, my review, because let's be frank, I'm still kind of new at this and just didn't want it to, you know, kind of get in the way, you know, because I tried, and in this game you cannot turn down the music. Like, it's not like in more modern games where you can just lower the music and, you know, go about your business. In this game, it's kind of, the music's either on or it's off. Same thing with the in-game sounds. They're kind of just on or off. You can't just lower them or, you know, whatever you want to do. Another great thing this game allows you to do is, if you are in the red like I am, if you're in debt, you can take out a loan. However, just like in real life, you know, there are consequences to that. That's why I chose not to. I chose to use my head and try and bring up my bottom line by simply raising and lowering prices on various rides and commodities within the park in order to try and bring my bottom line back up. Because I did get a little lazy, I'm not gonna lie, and I just kind of wanted to see what would happen if I let the game just run and run and run. And just kind of, I was curious, and it kind of screwed me over a little bit on this one, because now I'm over $20,000 in the hole. But there are ways out of it. You know, once I get back in the green, I get a couple bucks. One way you can get your money back up once you get a couple bucks is promotion. You can promote your park. That does cost money, of course. Every day you pay a small service fee or what have you. Or you can do, you know, other kind of different things like promotions to where you could, you know, have, you know, free entry, you know, and things like that. And that can really help. You do have a button on the top that will allow you to zoom in and out of the park. I mean, I'm usually zoomed in to the max, which honestly I wish it would honestly go in farther, but it's a pretty old game. And it's pretty limited on how much you can, how far you can zoom in, which is understandable based on, you know, the hardware at the time and the software at the time and the limitations of that hardware and software at the time. But however, I would say it's a great game, man. I'd say that's something. This is one of those games where if you haven't played it, I'd say pick it up. I mean, I wouldn't like heavily urge picking it up. It's not a must-have. Like if I had to give it a rating, honestly, if I had to give it a solid rating, I would say it's probably like, I don't know. I mean, it's got pretty outdated graphics. You know, the resolution's not the best, especially if you want to play it as it was originally intended by the developers. I'd say it's probably a solid, I want to say a solid 7 out of 10. Because for the time, what it did was pretty awesome. So it's a solid 7 out of 10. That's where I'm going to go ahead and leave my rating, a solid 7 out of 10. And I'm going to go ahead and say the best way to play this game, the best way to play this game is honestly on modern hardware. Because you're going to get that frame rate you want. And you're going to get those, you're going to get those options that you're not going to have on older hardware. But if you want to be nostalgic, go ahead and play it on like a P4, because that's going to be really awesome. I'm just playing it on this because, I'm doing a review on it. But honestly, I would rather play it on my old P4 laptop. But yeah, I would go ahead and say this is a must pick up. Go ahead and pick this one up. And if you can't afford to pick, this one, the second one, and the third one up, I would go ahead and say pick up the. I want to say go ahead and pick up the third one if you don't have a choice. Like if you're just really broke, you don't have a choice between any of them. Just go ahead and pick up the third one. That's the best one. I'm gonna go ahead and try and sum this up real quick and say, man, I don't know. This is one of those games where you can spend hours, man, playing this. I'm telling you, you fire it up, and you say, oh man, I'm just gonna spend 4 or 5 minutes on it. I'm just gonna spend a little bit of time on it. It's never a little bit of time with this game. A little bit of time with this game is like 3 hours minimal. Don't fire this up right before you go to work, because it's a very addicting game. And for the time, the graphics are not bad. Like they're not anything that's gonna, they're nothing to sneeze at for the time. So I'm just gonna put that out there. But however, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up and say, there's some more expense reports and things like that in the game. That's one of my favorite features of the game. As well as guest count. Like, subscribe, and see you around. That's where we're gonna leave it at.